Welcome to the Buick Outdoors Podcast. I'm your host, Sheldon Marion, and on this podcast, we dive deep into the outdoors. We discuss hunting and fishing techniques, give you tips and tricks, tell stories, and everything in between to help you enjoy the outdoors. This podcast is brought to you by Northbound Gear. If you've been around here for a while, you have seen that I pretty well exclusively wear Northbound Gear pants, whether it's the adventure water resistant and cut resistant pants or the waterproof jeans. They're just excellent stand-up gear. They have those pants. They also have some summer pants as well that zip off into shorts. They have jackets, things for men and women, and they also have a bunch of accessories as well. If you want to check those guys out, they're at northboundgear.co. And for you guys listening and watching this, if you use the promo code Sheldon15 at checkout, you'll receive 15% off your order, and that's including the sale items. Also, with Northbound Gear, they partner up with One Tree Planted, so for every purchase, you also plant a tree. So head over to northboundgear.co, check those guys out, use the promo code Sheldon15 to receive 15% off, and get yourself some good gear. Well, welcome back to another podcast. This one, it's going to be a little bit different. We're really not talking about hunting overly too much. This is basically a podcast just to I'm hoping to encourage more people to go and get checked out if there's anything wrong with you. For me, this last couple of months, things have been going downhill pretty quick, but not to the point where like I'm dying or anything like that. But we've had some pretty major complications here lately, and I really want to push this thing where if you have any sort of weird ailments or anything like that, go and get checked out, because I don't want you to be in my position. It kind of sucks, not gonna lie. But basically, to kind of make a long story short, throughout my lifetime, I've never really had much or any real health problems, I don't think anyways. There's been the odd thing, like the odd chest pain here and there, or the odd time the tip of my finger or the tip of my toe has gone numb. Within the last few years, I've slowly started to get gout, but that's just a family tradition in my family, really. As soon as you hit like 30, 40 years old, you just get gout. Like that's how it is. If you're a Marion, you're gonna have gout, So it was stuff that I never really cared about, never really paid attention to. Every once in a while you have some weird pain shoot down your arm or whatever, and it's like, whatever. Especially, it doesn't last. It was just a quick little jolt of pain or discomfort or whatever. But with that being said, this last about year, things have been getting quite a bit worse. About the only thing that I've ever really struggled with throughout my life is basically like my weight. And other than that, and with that being said though, having the odd pain here and there, having a hard time losing weight, or you gain weight real quick, I mean, that's half of the people I know I just described. So, for me, it wasn't anything real serious or anything worth checking out. Especially with our doctor situation up here in the north, like really, if you haven't been hit by a car, you're not getting in. we have very, very few doctors and nurses, and everything's overwhelmed and stuff. So it's like, if I had a little pain here, there, whatever, like I didn't want to bother people with my small problem when there's, people with actual real problems, was kind of my way of thinking anyways. But yeah, within this last few months, my fingers have started going white and going numb. Before it used to be, if it was like minus 20, now if it's like slightly chilly in my office, today I had these 3 fingers go numb, all 4 fingers on this side go numb. My thumbs never really do. A couple of my toes gone numb. For the last 2 or 3 days, I've been taking my colchicine because my gout's flaring up. But yeah, this last few months, things got much worse. The numbness in my fingers and my toes happens very regularly. Before it used to be once a month, maybe in the winter, and now it's 2, 3, 4 times a week. I had my gout within the last few months. It went from once every 6 months, my feet would hurt a little bit and I'd take some ibuprofen, to where now I'm on gout pills every single day. On top of that, my heart has been doing not so great. My heart rhythm got worse. I can feel the pulse on my neck now. And yeah, so now I've been going and getting checked out, and pretty well what started out as real small little things have snowballed into this huge problem that I have now. Basically, I have hypothyroidism, so my thyroid's dead. I'm on thyroid medication. I take one of these pills every single morning now. Also, my heart isn't doing so good. I got what's it called? Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. So basically, I have an enlarged heart. The valve is really small, and instead of actually pumping, it just kind of slowly, kind of squirts blood. So my circulation ain't too good, and that's what's causing the problems with my fingers and my toes. But with that also causes more problems, especially on top of hypothyroidism. Now my kidneys have damage, my liver. I think they're testing it, but it doesn't look that bad. But the hypothyroid, yeah, everything's out of wonk now. I have to make appointments with the specialist at St. Paul's Hospital in Vancouver for my thyroid. I'm also being sent down there for my heart to see the cardiologist down in Vancouver. So things are going to be quite a bit different around here for Buick Outdoors. Yeah, I'm not really slowing down overly too much. When it comes to winter stuff, I'm kind of getting forced to stay inside, because now if I go outside, I physically can't handle the cold. That's another issue with the hypothyroidism. Your internal thermostat is just right out of whack. So when I go outside in the cold, it's deathly cold. It's not deathly cold, but it's colder than what it should be. And then with my fingers and my toes going numb, it's not even enjoyable to be outside when it's -10 now. Before, when it would warm up to -10, I'd go outside in shorts and t-shirt almost. But yeah, we're having some issues there. So when it comes to winter stuff, I'm not going to be doing a whole lot, to be honest with you. That's why so far this year I've been doing a pile of podcasts, basically, just to kind of keep the channel going. But it kind of comes, me and Shelby, we've been having conversations about doing things. She's worried about me doing things on my own, especially the places that I go and the things that I do. I go out, I'll say I'm going over here. Turns out I'm 3 hours this way. There's no way to get a hold of me. I'm out of self-service. So we're kind of looking into basically GPS communication devices, whether it's a Spot or a Garmin InReach or something like that, just so I can check in. Because one thing the doctors were saying is that I'm at a fairly high risk of cardiac death syndrome, where your heart basically just can't keep up anymore, and it just kind of stops. It just kind of pulls the plug and just kind of, it doesn't flutter out, or you have a heart attack where you have a clogged artery or anything like that. It just stops beating. It's like you take the batteries out kind of thing. It just dies. So yeah, I have to be kind of careful on what I do, because I got the weak heart now. Hunting alone, let's be honest, I'm still going to do it. I'm not going to let this stuff slow me down. One thing I was telling Shelby is, if I'm out hunting or fishing and my heart does stop,
I would much rather, die out in the bush with a gun or with a fishing rod in my hand or whatever, instead of sitting at home worried and then like dying on the couch kind of thing. So like hunting and fishing, I'm not slowing down. I'm gonna keep going as long as it's still warm out, kind of a deal. One thing I also have to be cautious about now too is packing out animals. Basically what I'm going to be doing now, like I've always carried my pack frame, but now I'll pretty much use it. Before, I would just grab an animal by its hind legs or whatever and just hoof it to the truck and just drag it all out. But now I'll just, do more smarter things basically. I'll quarter it up, put it onto the pack frame, hike it back out to the truck, and just do a couple of trips instead. So, it sounds like really bad, bleak news. It sounds like I'm dying, but really, I just have to slow down a little bit. I have to manage my stress a little bit more and my anxiety. Uh, when I'm at home, it's not that bad. At work, it's a total different animal. But I'm hoping that that's gonna be changing here fairly soon. Uh, yeah, I just kind of, I don't want to say I quit caring at work, but I care a lot less. If something doesn't get done during the week, I go, whatever. Next week I'll come back to work and I'll get it done. Same thing with like if somebody on the other shift of me is doing something, instead of worrying about it and stressing out, I just whatever. That's what they do on that side of on their world. What we do on our side, it's totally different things. What they do on their shift is what they do. What we do on our shift is what we do. What I fix is what I fix, and what I can't fix, well, I'll come back and I'll get it next week. But yeah, I want to say all this not to bring attention to me. I it sounds weird, and I've said it before, but like as a YouTuber, as a guy that does a podcast, uh, I really don't like attention. Uh, when I kind of announced it to people, uh, yeah, I, I, how do I say it? I kind of wish I didn't tell people because now everybody's talking to me a bunch. But it is what it is. At least, announcing it here on my podcast and on my YouTube channel and yada yada and all that. I have a few thousand people that subscribe to me, and I don't know, maybe 5 or 60 or whatever are kind of having somewhat of the same situation that I was in, where you were you weren't 100%, but you still felt about 90%. So it's like, where I'm not gonna go and get checked out for this one little stupid thing. My fingers went numb. Yeah, because it's cold out, dummy. That was my thought process, and it basically still is. Like it, I haven't really changed much. I'm still just a stubborn, stupid redneck. But yeah, if you guys are having any sort of ailments or anything like that, I'm really encouraging people to go out and get checked out now. Yeah, because you're in my position now. It kind of sucks. I have one, two, three, four, 5 bottles of pills that I got to take pretty well every day now. Until things start to get better, then I can probably come off of them a bit, anyways. But yeah, yeah. If you have any small little things, go out, get checked before they snowball into a much bigger thing. And then also, if it's just one small thing, it's easy to pinpoint. Where if you're in my position, where you have like 3 or 4 things all kind of intertwined, and it's hard for these guys to figure out what's wrong with me, because there's, this affects that, which affects this, which affects that over here, which then also might have something to do with this over here. And, it just, we're slowly getting it figured out. But instead of going to the doctors for, a month or two and getting things figured out and getting on certain medications or changing your lifestyle up or whatever it is that needs to be done, now it's going on to months and almost a year kind of a thing. So yeah, this podcast is a little bit doom and gloom to a certain extent, I guess, if you take it the wrong way. For me, Don't worry about me. You know, we're in good hands. We got good doctors. I'm on a bunch of medication now. I'm still going out, still fishing, still gonna hunt, and yeah, coming up here. Um, Depending on when this comes out, uh, we'll be I'll be on my way to Vancouver Island to spend a few weeks down there, doing a bunch of hunting, exploring, fossil hunting. Um, what else are we doing? I don't know. No clue. I don't even have a plan. I'm just loading up the truck, heading down to the West Coast, and just spending 2 weeks living like a hobo in a tent, fishing and doing whatever, just living, having a good time. But anyways, guys, yeah, sorry for kind of bringing it down or whatever, but yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this podcast. It's an eye opener for you guys. Yeah, if you have a loved one that is kind of being stubborn like I was for the longest time, and I still am, you know, maybe just kind of give them a kick in the butt or whatever. Uh, you know, really convince them to go and get checked out, especially if you're up in Canada. All this stuff that I've done, the only thing I've had to pay for is prescription drugs. Everything else has been free. You know, I've done dozens of blood tests, several urine samples, like 3 ECGs, ultrasound on my heart. I haven't paid a dime. So I mean, like, if you're in Canada and you have some issues, there's no real reason whatsoever for you not to go and get checked out. But anyways, guys, hopefully you liked that video. If you didn't, I don't blame you. If you're watching this on YouTube, you know, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be kicking around for quite a bit longer, don't you worry. So yeah, subscribe to the channel, see what else we get up to in the future here. And if you're just listening to this on the podcast, maybe head over to our YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel, help us grow. And yeah, slowly but surely, we're starting to make this a real career. Anyways, guys, that's all. Catch you on the next one.